Hello, traders. It is Sunday, October 27th, and it's time for our weekly recording. Let's start off by looking at our last pick. That's how we start all of these videos. I want you to get a really good feel for how well this system performs. Wednesday, midday, we did a live event. I did not do a video recording last Sunday. So Microsoft's really the only pick that we have to look at this week. And you can see during a live event, which was pretty much midday here, Microsoft is kind of right where it was when we did the live event. I still like it. So let's take a look at the longer term chart, D1, see what's got me interested in it. Hover over the E. When the E in Option Stalker Pro is red, that means that earnings are due, and earnings on Microsoft are on October 30th. Please make sure that you are out of the position before that earnings announcement. This is not to be held over that announcement. We don't do that. Simply too much risk. It's a binary event. We are not interested in 50-50 outcomes. We want to get our odds up to 75%. There is no reason for us to ever trade over earnings, not given what we can do all the other times. So we know that earnings are coming up. You can see how the stock rallied up to the 100-day moving average. It actually got above the 100-day moving average, pulled back, preserved half of this long green candle. That's good. Thursday, it tested the downside a little bit, found support a little bit higher on Friday. So it rested right at that 100-day moving average. I think we're going to see decent price movement upward in Microsoft into the number. And the reason I say that is you can see how it's been able to get through the 50-day moving average and the 100-day moving average. It's got support on this longer term uptrend. This is a low plus trend line. So I like the price action. Stock's been a little herky-jerky trying to get through this 100-day moving average. There is a downward sloping trend line right here that the stock is also trying to get through right at that 100-day moving average. So what would I do with this? Well, you would want to set alerts on it. You could right click and set an M5 alert based on our trade signals. You could also simply set an alert at the 100-day moving average. As we've seen, it has backed off of that 100-day moving average a couple of times. So when it breaks through it, we want to see nice sustained movement. We want to see heavy volume. So we really need the market to help us out here, okay? The market's been chopping around in a very tight range. We haven't had a lot of news to go off of. Monday and Tuesday, there's not a lot of news coming out. After the close on Tuesday, we get Google. Then the rest of the week, we've got Amazon, we have Apple, we have Meta, we have Microsoft. We got all the mega cap tech stocks reporting earnings. By the way, earnings have been pretty well received. Banks led off earnings season. Most of those stocks have been grinding higher. That's a good sign. Financials having positive price action is good for the overall market. It means that consumers are paying back their loans, means that economic conditions are good, employment is good. So we like the fact that banks have actually been able to move a little bit higher. Tech stocks that I've seen release earnings have been excellent. Tesla was up, WDC was up, TXN was up. So I think that's going to continue into this week. But the big difference is that those earnings will start Tuesday after the close, and they'll carry the entire week. We also have a slew of economic releases coming out this week. So we've got ISM Manufacturing, we have the JOLTS number, Challenger Gray and Christmas. We have the first look at Q3 GDP. That means we're also going to get the PCE deflator, which is the inflation measure that the Fed prefers to use. Big number is going to be on Friday, the jobs report. This is going to be a very busy week from Wednesday through Friday. I think the action is going to be nice and brisk. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the high challenged right in here. So you can see the last 2 weeks, up and down and up and down and up and down. We've just got really this sideways breakout. And this is what I call a marginal new high. Got resistance right here. We poke above it, just barely. That is a marginal new high. We compress for about 2 weeks and then whoop, we got another little breakout. And then we spend the rest of the time compressing. So this is not a particularly strong market rally. No one is that excited to get long yet. And I use the word yet because everybody's waiting. Once we get through this next week, we've got the FOMC statement Thursday, again, a week from this Thursday, and we've got the election coming up the Tuesday before that. So those are two major events that are also pending. So asset managers are not going to be very aggressive right now. They're going to wait to see how everything plays out. Monday and Tuesday this week, expect more choppy trading. Everyone's going to wait to see how mega cap tech earnings come out. And I personally believe the reactions are going to be good. Why? Well, the market hasn't really moved up that much since the July high. That was when mega cap tech companies were reporting earnings. So they've had a whole additional quarter of profitability. That means that valuations are a bit more attractive now than they were here because they've made more money, yet the market is not much higher than it was before. And we've had some positive reactions. We are now in a seasonally bullish period of the year. So I think all those things are going to be good. The other factors that I'm looking at, initial jobless claims have been up just a touch, like 235,000, 240,000, not much at all. So I think the jobs numbers this week are going to be quite good across the board, be it ADP or the actual jobs report on Friday. I am not looking for it to cast a dark cloud over the market. Not at all. Now, there was some worry that with the Fed easing by 50 basis points in September, that perhaps they saw economic weakness ahead, so the market really wasn't able to rally much because asset managers were waiting to see, is that first shoe going to drop? Are we finally going to start to see some cracks in the dam? Are we going to see some weak economic data points? Never happened. Job growth has been very steady. So I think with that economic backdrop and with decent earnings coming up, that the market is going to be able to move higher. Now you've got both sides really saying that this is going to be the end of the world if Republicans win. This is going to be the end of the world if Democrats win. Oh my God, it's going to be absolutely terrible. The one thing that I will tell you is that these economic policies are going to take a while to work their way into the economy, and the market is going to be digesting what's actually happening. So yes, there could be a knee-jerk reaction on the election Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how close the race is. I'm really hoping that whichever way it goes, that it's decisive. Okay, I don't want to wait around 2 or 3 weeks to find out who won the election. That type of uncertainty is not going to be good for the market. You're going to see a lot of back and forth price action, a lot of indecision. So that would be the worst case scenario, in my opinion, given the economic data points, given the fact that the Fed is leaning towards easing, given the profitability that we're likely to see from companies this quarter. I think that this current trend is going to continue higher, regardless of who gets elected, because it'll be a little bit of a relief rally. Finally, we're done with all the back and forth between the two parties. I think what's perhaps most interesting is how the Senate and the House races play out. So if you have, let's say, Trump who gets elected, but they can't capture the Senate or they lose the House, then everything's going to be balanced out. Same thing for Kamala. If she wins and the Republicans take the Senate, well, things are quite negated. All right. So I don't think that the election is going to have as big an impact as everyone is thinking. I think that the focus is still going to be, at least short term, at least through year end, which is all we're really focused on, that the focus will be on profits, focus will be on economic growth. We'll have some seasonal strength to fuel the market the last 2 months of the year. And then as the dust starts to settle out, perhaps the market will move off of either of the two agendas and policies. So if you're a passive trader, I would say this week you want to start lightening up on some of your swing exposure. If you feel like I do that the outcome either way is going to be well received by the market, then I think you can continue to have your starter long positions on right now with the intent to add on a breakout to a new high. So let's see how this plays out. I will say one thing, just purely from a trading standpoint, I hope Trump wins. I've traded during his presidency and there was lots of volatility. And I like volatility when I'm trading. So just from that standpoint, he has a tendency to make a lot of statements that are market moving. You get these knee-jerk reactions. You get these snapback moves. I am a short-term trader, and I'm perfectly cool with that volatility. In fact, I would welcome it, especially after a stretch like this where we've seen tons of compression. Geez, we're always waiting for news, always in waiting mode. And then we get the news, and it's a great big nothing burger. Get this market to move around some. That's what I would like to see personally. And again, just from a trading perspective. I'm not talking about it from any other perspective. So let's go in, let's run a quick search. Again, I think the price action Monday and Tuesday is going to be fairly lackluster, and then we start getting into the mega cap tech earnings, and that's when I think we can really start to see some market movement. And I'm looking for the jobs report to be quite decent. Number in the 160,000, 170,000 range, which I think is perfect, not too hot, not too cold. So let's see how all of that plays out. I'm only going to be giving you a bullish pick. I'd like to find a stock, and this is all I did. I thought, why don't I just put some criteria together that I would like to see in a stock? I'd like to see H1 relative strength. Let me bring up the search real quick, and then you'll be able to see the variables that I used. So I'd like to see H1 relative strength, M30 and M15. Why? Because the market hasn't done anything. A stock that has relative strength right now has been able to grind higher when the market is flatlining. I'd like to see a trade signal on an H1 buy signal and an M15 buy signal. That tells me that this stock is also continuing to inch higher when the market is sideways. Good option liquidity, relative volume. So relative volume on Friday was about 20% greater than normal. So I ran this search. I didn't have a lot of search results that I had to look through, so I was able to knock through these pretty quickly. And I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go to CLS. ARKK, that's a fund. Blink, that is, I believe, a Chinese firm. This is a pot stock here, so that could be getting some excitement based on if Kamala wins, she's going to try and legalize marijuana. DJT, so you can see the stocks that are running right now are moving. This is Trump Media, IBRX, Biotech, which actually IONQ looks good. I like that stock on a D1 basis, but it's a little bit far out of the gate. I'd like to see it come back and compress to that EMA 8. then I'd be interested in it. But yeah, it has made a really nice move. We had Penn Gaming. There's nothing there. Tiny little breakout. LVS came out, announced earnings. Pretty decent earnings reaction. And then we had Tesla. Tesla actually looks pretty good. So we can take a look at Tesla. I like this horizontal resistance level that Tesla is trying to work through. Lots of trend lines coming into play here. So we'd want to see pretty immediate follow through on Tesla, and we'd like to get it above that high, which was 271. So right click, create alert. Let's do a price alert on this one. Scroll down, price, and we're going to go, instead of 271, let's give ourselves a little bit of room here, and let's say 272. And if the stock is above 272, $272, I would like an alert. Now, the only reason that I wouldn't go more aggressively than this on Tesla is that there's a pretty big earnings reaction right in here. It's testing a considerable horizontal resistance level. We need to see that follow through. It's already made a decent move after earnings, and I typically like to wait about 4 or 5 days for the dust to settle and to see those signs that the stock is able to get through that resistance level, that follow through. We had follow through on Friday, so that's good. Nice big rally on Thursday. Market opens higher on Friday. Market pulls back on Friday. Stock continues to push higher. That is a positive sign. There's your SPY. Do the 5-minute chart. Market rallies up early on Friday, spends the rest of the day selling off. What did Tesla do? Tesla opened higher, pulled back with the market, and made higher lows and finished near its high of the day on heavy volume. Maybe Tesla should be my pick. So let's leave that open. I looked at CLS. I kind of liked CLS, so let's take a look at that. You can see stock moves higher with the market on Friday, compresses the rest of the day, really doesn't pull back much during the course of the day when the market was selling off like this, holds its gains close to the high of the day. D1 chart, really nice horizontal breakout in here. You can see that's a pretty substantial dip before earnings, but we had okay strength that got us back to that horizontal resistance level pre-earnings. So it gives a little bit of that back. And then you got your earnings announcement and the stock shoots high. Same type of pattern as with Tesla. You got this nice long green candle. Friday when the market pulled back, this stock was able to hold its early gains. I think it's going to continue to move higher. Let's zoom all the way out and take a look at that longer term chart. You can see this is a very nice pattern in a long-term uptrend. Let's do the same for Tesla because this could be the deciding factor. Yeah, CLS looks better to me than Tesla. So this is the same time frame. And you can see how Tesla, yes, it's higher than it was at the beginning of the chart. But look at all these setbacks. Look at all that volatility. CLS didn't have any of that. It's continuing to work its way higher. So we always want to pick the best stocks, the fastest horse. There is no reason for us to ever settle because we have thousands of stocks to pick from. So when you start whittling down your candidates, you need to do a zoom out just like I did. Take a look at that longer term picture. Take a look at those dips. Look for those stronger long-term trends because when you get price action like this on a short-term basis, it tells you that the buyers have been interested for a long time. They like this earnings release. They're going to be in there embracing the stock. It is a choppy stock. You can see that from the price action Friday. So there is no reason to rush in and chase this stock. Market gaps up Monday or Tuesday and this stock gaps up. Don't chase it. Right click, create alert. I'm going to go M5 and then I'm going to do an M15 trade alert. Let me know when it's on a buy signal. That alert is set. Go into the 15-minute chart. It's on a buy signal. Our servers know that. It has to make a round turn, which means I need to see an exit signal. Then when I get the next M15 buy signal, I can evaluate the type of dip that the stock has made. What would I want to see? Well, during that time, if the market had a soft patch, a soft little day, Monday or Tuesday, which it could, market chopping around, I'd like to see the stock pull back a little bit. It's the only way it's going to generate that exit and then a new buy signal. But I'd like to see that low preserved. Absolutely, I want to see the open from this earnings reaction preserved. Ideally, half of this long green candle is going to be preserved, and that kind of coincides with this level right here. So since I've got a level that I'm particularly interested in, why don't I click GTC, and I'll click that, and now I have a GTC alert. If the stock pulls back and it tests that halfway point, I'm going to get an alert there. And you can actually see that the green candle from that open here to that high there, I'd like to see almost all of that preserved. That's even greater than the halfway point. So yes, by all means, I don't mind a pullback to this level. And if I get that alert that it's gone into an M15 buy signal and this level has been preserved, I know that that's going to be a really nice trade. So I'm going to set that alert right now. If you take 2 seconds to do it, you're going to be very happy because you're going to be focusing on the alerts that keep popping up. And then you're going to go through and evaluate the nature of the dip just like I did. You're going to be watching for that relative strength. You're going to be looking for decent volume. And now you're simply waiting for the market to give you nice upward movement. And I believe we're going to see that towards the end of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Again, economic data coming out this week, GDP coming out, first look. We've got the first look at the PCE deflator, very big, ADP, jobs report on Friday. I think the economic data points are going to be very decent. They're going to be consistent with the market moving higher. I think the earnings releases are going to be good. And I think that the market's got a nice chance to grind higher. Don't chase gaps up, buy dips, be patient, wait, expect choppy trading Tuesday, Wednesday, and then maybe some better, more consistent price action towards the end of the week. And then we've got the election and the FOMC. So we've got lots of news to drive the market. If you like the content, please give this a thumbs up. That allows me to reach more and more traders, and that's really my objective. That's why I do these videos. So thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments and questions. Tell me if you like CLS better or Tesla better and why. Thanks. We'll see you Wednesday for the live event.
Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.